recently in atheistic literature, there has been an attack on second law of thermodynamics. Like creationists are using second law of thermodynamics for many decades, and how the entropy increases, and that has been used as an evidence for creation. But many physicists and skeptics are attacking second law of thermodynamics, and they are saying it doesn't mean disorder will increase. You can always, like for example, if a teenager messes up his room, and yes, over the time his room looks bad, but one of those days the teenager can always put those things back in their place. In the same way, second law of thermodynamics does not support creation, and I am hearing this often. Do you think they are attacking this from their own philosophy?
Well, they have a point. You can reduce the level of entropy in a small region of space if you increase the entropy somewhere else. And you have to increase that entropy significantly more than you would expect from the normal operation of the second law of thermodynamics. So yes, there can be local regions of the universe. And the example you gave, a teenager can clean up his room. But as he cleans up that room, he has to increase entropy somewhere else in order to lower the entropy in his room. And so atheists argue that maybe that's what's happening, is that somehow energy from the sun is being channeled towards the earth in such a way that entropy is actually reduced rather than increased. But when you look at the flow of energy from the sun, it doesn't have the order that would allow it to reduce entropy. I mean, the sun is one of the most entropic bodies that we can look to, and the universe as a whole is really the biggest example we can cite in all of science of high entropy. And so to claim that by natural process alone, without any intelligent agency, you can reduce entropy to the level necessary to explain the origin of life and how life eventually changes to become something like us human beings, that thermodynamics will not permit that to happen. Now, that's been actually acknowledged by some atheist mathematical physicists. Um, so I'm trying to think of his name. He's at the Santa Fe Institute. He's actually argued that Darwinism is not a good explanation for the origin and history of life based on these principles of thermodynamics. But he's actually arguing, Stuart Kauffman's his name. He's arguing that there's a fourth law of thermodynamics where there's some exotic site in the universe where the three laws of thermodynamics are actually overcome by a fourth law. And so he says that explains where the origin of life comes from. Excuse me about that call.
No problem.
Okay, I think this microphone will pick it up. Okay, good.
Yes. So there is no way that they can calculate second law of thermodynamics, right?
Well, here's the problem with Stuart Kauffman's explanation, is that he's basically saying there must be exotic sites somewhere in the universe where the laws of thermodynamics operate the opposite the way we physicists see them, and does this by strictly a naturalistic process. It's a hidden law that's operating in an exotic region of the universe, and somehow that reversal of the second law of thermodynamics explains the origin of life and how that first life form evolved into human beings without divine intervention. However, we astronomers recognize that one of the requirements for any kind of physical life to exist is that the universe be uniform and homogeneous. And if it's uniform and homogeneous, that rules out any exotic site where a fourth law can operate. I mean, we've looked everywhere. We don't see any of this exotic physics he's speaking about. And if the exotic physics existed, like you said, it would actually rule out the possibility of physical life. Anybody who wants details on this, I've actually responded to this in my book, The Creator and the Cosmos, 4th edition.